Well, a very good morning and welcome to Davos. The sun just beginning to glint onto the sprint course and the crowds beginning to gather around. We're just about 10 minutes away from the quarterfinals. Very good news for British cross-country fans. Andrew Young, fourth fastest in the qualification time trial earlier today. Well, welcome to Switzerland and indeed to Davos at the altitude you can see there, just under 1,600 meters. Marit Bjørgen and Pellegrino, neither of them involved today. Marit Bjørgen, of course, along with America's Keegan Randall, both expecting their first babies. So this is just a flavour of the winter atmosphere of Davos, one of the longest established winter sports centres, originally a health spa to which the British came many times in the early years before this became a fashionable ski sport resort, and long before it became the centre for the World Economic Forum, an annual event for which perhaps Davos is more or better known, I should say, by most of the public. But today it's all about cross-country skiing here at altitude, and it's the sprint competition after yesterday's two endurance races, the women over 15, the men over 30 kilometers. And before we get going, just an opportunity to reprise yesterday's races, beginning with the women's 15-kilometer freestyle. 3 loops of 5 meters, 5 kilometers each, and Therese Johaug, the dominant force from start to finish. Really shot out and not really giving anybody a chance to get anywhere near her. Within the first 2 kilometers, she was over 20 seconds ahead and dominating over her Norwegian teammates Østberg, Weng, Jacobsen, Slind, who occupied at the end of the race the first 5 places. Therese Johaug winning in a time of 35 minutes and 40 seconds, a whole minute and 10 seconds ahead of Østberg and 1:15 ahead of Heidi Weng, with Astrid Jacobsen almost alongside her and Kari Slind 1 minute and 37 back in 5th place. So a clean sweep and real dominance by the Norwegian women. It was also likely to be a strong performance by the Norwegian men, with Martin Jonsrud Sundby the dominant force in the Men's World Cup in the early weeks. And so it proved to be. Sundby, though, having a ding-dong battle for more than 3/4 of the race with Maurice Magnificat, the defending champion who last won the 30-kilometer freestyle race here a couple of seasons ago. Sundby, by his own admission, starting a little too fast, and Maurice Magnificat in the last 2 kilometers commenting that his back was really killing him. But it was Sundby and Magnificat, pursued by Glørsen, who ultimately took 3rd place ahead of teammate Schuroter to give Norway 3 in the first 4 places. Sundby in 1 hour, 6 minutes and 27.9 seconds to collect yet another 100 World Cup points ahead of Magnificat, who gave everything, and Anders Glørsen, who will be featuring in today's sprints and could well be on the podium 2 days running. So once again, a very good morning to you and welcome to gorgeous Davos. Beautiful blue sky, temperatures chilly, -8 early in the morning. But today, not a question of endurance, a question of sprinting. Over 1.6 kilometers, essentially the journey is made up of 2 loops of about 787 meters. That's the way they've measured it, which approximates to the distance of 1.6 kilometers. There you can see it's still just below freezing, but the weather cheering up all the time. And the best news for British sprinting, as you see the course here, which is particularly demanding. You come out of the stadium, you're on the climb, big climb just after the 250-meter point, and then a fast descent, tricky corners, chicanes here, and then towards the end of the two loops you've got exactly the same run down into the stadium. Really important to get a good start here to get a strong early position. Well, it'll be the women who go first, and 57 competitors originally started out from 16 countries, and now we're down to the top 30. And this is the order. You can see Ersberg, who was second yesterday. That's her best ever endurance race here in Davos, behind Teresa Johaug, who said it was also her best ever race in Davos, and it was also her first ever 15-kilometer freestyle victory. And Ersberg with a real chance of getting on the podium 2 days running. As you see the order here, one or two who didn't make it: Pozhaskova of Slovakia, who is an out-and-out sprinter; Shapovalova of Russia, also not qualified; Charlotte Kalla, that would have been a strong call. And in the men's race here, as you see the top order, I can tell you that no Petter Northug in the lineup. The man who won the Classic World Championship sprint last season in Falun, not here. And Alex Harvey, who was the runner-up, also not involved. But as you saw on that first page, Andrew Young, fourth fastest in a time of 2:23.44. He goes in the last group. I talked to his dad, who's also his coach, Roy Young, in the last hour or so. They're pretty happy about going in the last group, but I think it's a tough call there. They've got Tugbol of Norway and Andrew Newell, who was in the final in Ruka. Okay, that was a classic sprint. Anders Glorsen, who's a Davos winner. And so it won't be that easy, and Andrew needs to try to get the best of starts. But if he could possibly get into the semi-finals, he will do something that no British cross-country Nordic skier has ever achieved. So fingers crossed, and of course we wish him well. And when Andrew Musgrave crossed the line, he was about 8 seconds out of the lead, and therefore not qualifying. He looked up, saw the scoreboard, saw Andrew Young's time in fourth place, and rushed over to congratulate him. Terrific team spirit from the Brits. So here we go with the first of the 5 quarterfinals, the first 2 to qualify, plus 2 fastest losers. And wearing bib number 1, the fastest, Ersberg from Norway, 2:39.84, the World Championship runner-up last season. Linn Sörmska of Sweden. And then also in here, Sophie Caldwell for the United States. Heidi Weng, who was on the podium yesterday, also with Ersberg. Ida Ingsmarsdotter and Heidi Widmar make up the first 6. And away we go. Heidi Widmar on the left of your screen now, at the bottom of your screen, representing Switzerland in that black race outfit, as the Norwegians, 2 of them here, try to dominate early on. The likes of Ersberg and Heidi Weng. Ersberg wearing bib number 1. And you can see to her left there, wearing 5, that is Sophie Caldwell of the United States of America. So on to the climb, into that first turn. You can see why Ersberg was very keen to get a good position here. 2 laps of just under 800 meters. That's the journey in this World Cup sprint. Second sprint of the season, first of the freestyle sprints. They've held here some 8 freestyle sprints over the years in the World Cup series, and they're in Indian file. Heidi Weng tucking in into second place there. Heidi Weng yet to win a World Cup. Incredible stats from her. 4 times a runner-up, 8 times third in her career, and a much improved skier, and now a stalwart in the Norwegian team. So it's Norway, then the United States, and then Ida Ingsmarsdotter. You can see the taller of the 2 Swedes in just about 4th place. 2 there. That's Linn Sumska, her Swedish teammate. Heidi Widmar of Switzerland in the black is now detached as the 2 Norwegians go round. So little time check coming up here to take note of as they come up the hill. Just over 2 minutes at that point as they now face this descent here, and it's the 2 Norwegians who are away, and it's the first 2 across the line, but plus the fastest 2 losers from across all 5 quarterfinals. And Østberg, Olympic silver medalist, of course, in Sochi in freestyle sprinting, leading as she has done all the way, and Heidi Weng not getting to her. Sophie Caldwell coming under pressure to hold on to 3rd place, but there it is, Norway 1 and 2, and Caldwell into 3rd. 2:36 the time for the winner, 2:36.4. And the Sophie Caldwell in 3rd place, 2:34 off the lead. Ida Ingsmarsdotter in 4th place. So they have to hope for a lucky loser spot. Second quarterfinal coming up here, and you can see that it's really important to get a quick start and get the optimum line into the first turn. A right-hander. Sophie Caldwell, very good in 3rd place there. Just has to hope that that time is quick from Østberg. 2:36.44, lining up for the second of the quarterfinals now. Johanna Sundling of Sweden, the junior world freestyle sprint champion of last season, wears bib number 7, and she was the quickest of the next half dozen in this quarterfinal. 2:43.18 as you get confirmation of the first quarterfinal. Absolutely gorgeous morning. So Sweden, Norway, Germany, Italy, Finland, all represented, including yesterday's winner, Therese Johaug, who's got into this final. Skied about 10 seconds slower than Østberg to make it, but it does mean she's in the top 30, so some World Cup points coming her way. Micah Kaspersen-Faller, the Olympic champion in freestyle sprint, and the sprint leader, Faller. So 28 there, that's Therese Johaug, of course. And fascinating to see how she deals with this particular quarterfinal. She is the slowest of the qualifiers. 27, that's Ann Kalonen, 2 away from you of Finland. Hanna Kolb of Sweden in the white. Micah Kaspersen-Faller with the sprint leader's bib. And getting away, Teresa left behind by these speed merchants very early on. And quickly into the work here, Sundling for Sweden. Sundling, I should say, on the right, but it's the Norwegian again, Micah Kaspersen-Faller, who gets the optimum line coming out of that turn. Marit Bjørgen was the Sprint World Cup winner. Of course, she and Kika Randall not here. Both of them expecting their babies in a matter of days or maybe a week or so. So 4 away at this early stage. So there's Faller with the bib, 7 on the outside there. Not the best of tactics as they come through the stadium. Nine is Hannah Kolb there for Germany on the left of your picture, sort of matching pace there with Faller. 26, Greta Long of Italy, and Kolonen in the blue for the Finns. And now it is Mika Kaspersen-Faller who is on her way here. Germany second, Sweden third. So Kolonen with a lot of work to do at the moment as they come up here. And this is a little slower than the first quarter-final by my reckoning. Not by a huge margin, but look at the gaps opening up here now. And again, here's a racer who's going to be thanking their servicemen for a great pair of prepared skis here. Mika Kaspersen-Faller being pursued here by, as I say, the junior world sprint champion of 2 seasons ago. But Kaspersen-Faller coming in 2:36. 34, 2:40. It was slower. And Kolb in third place, 2:41.3. That will also be slower than the first quarter-final. So Mika Kaspersen-Faller, as expected, safely through. But pretty good from Sundling, 0.68 back. And this time of the second quarter-final means that the likes of Sophie Caldwell and Ida Ingsmarsdottir are still, at the moment, the best 2 lucky losers. But still, of course, 3 quarter-finals to go. Sundling forced on the outside, losing ground there. Hannah Kolb, the most efficient, but at the end of it, Mika Kaspersen-Faller able to come back and counter-attack. So 3 Norwegians through, 1 Swede by right, and as expected, Norwegians proving pretty strong both in the endurance and the sprint races. Confirmation, and you can see neither of the 2 in third or fourth. No flashing lights, which means they will not qualify whatever for the semi-finals. Third semi-final coming up now, and another strong Swedish challenge from Hanna Falk. Here she is. She was the quickest of these 6 in the qualifications. 2:42.60. Lauren van der Graaf will be in the black race suit for Switzerland. Ida Sargent for the United States. And there is Hanna Falk for Sweden. Lorien van der Graaf, of course, is local from Davos. You can just see her there. There's bib number 6. Personal best of second in Novo Mesto a couple of seasons is her personal best in sprinting in the World Cup. Ida Sargent, the United States. And Matveeva, 1-time World Cup winner representing Russia. Sandra Ringwald of Germany, together with Denise Herrmann, who was 7th and 10th here a year ago in the 2 freestyle sprints that were here. Now, Denise Herrmann wears 30. Sandra Ringwald of Germany wears 22. And it's Lorian van der Graaf of Switzerland who gets away quickly. Local skier, knowing that it's advantageous to get into the first right-hander as quickly as possible to start the climb. 20 right behind her there, that's Matvieva. It's been an awful long time since she won. I mean, we're talking years and years back. She won the first ever freestyle sprint in Dusseldorf by the side of the Rhine. And she's consistent. She's a better freestyler than she is classic racer in sprints. But Matvieva with a lot of work to do. She raced here last year, but never made the top 10 in either of the 2 sprints. First sprint here last year was won by Ersberg from Faller, from Celine Brunli, from Bjørgen, and Bjørgen won the second one ahead of Stina Nielsen and Ersberg. So coming back through the stadium before they go out again on this second rotation. And now Lorian van der Graaf being taken on now by the Swede Hanna Kolb, wearing 4. So on the right there, that's Denise Herrmann for Germany, who's now taking the lead, and she skips round, takes the outside line. Hanna Falk going with her. And then right behind is Lorian van der Graaf. Extreme right of your picture there. That was Sandra Ringwald of Germany, who's now in 4th place. And then Matvieva, who's been pushed back to 5th place. There are the 2 current lucky losers from the first of the quarterfinals. And it's Denise Herrmann who leads the way. Denise, 26 years of age, from the Biathlon Centre in Ruhpolding. But now, as we come to the business end here, Hanna Falk of Sweden getting into the lead, but being challenged there on the far side. And that's a great finish by Sandra Ringwald. Ringwald, in the last gasp of the race there, grabs the victory and denies Hanna Falk. Denies her only the victory, because Hanna's in 2nd place, Lorian van der Graaf in 3rd. Denise Herrmann arguably went a little too early. So what a performance there by Sandra Ringwald. You can just see her on the far side there. And it's quite possible that Hanna Falk didn't even see her coming, but 25 years of age from Schönwald. And she qualifies by right, and the time 2:42.67. So 3 quarterfinals, and each one slower than the next. Confirmation, Sandra Ringwald, Hanna Falk, they go through by right, and still from the first quarter-final, it is Ida Ingsmar-Dotter and Sophie Caldwell in the lucky loser spots. Next quarter-final, and this is headed by Alenka Šebasek from Bled, 26-year-old Slovenian, who has yet to make a World Cup podium. But there is Jess Diggins of the United States. Jess, who was outside the top 20 last year in the second of the 2 races. So Sebasek, the fastest. She wears bib number 10. Jess Diggins for the United States. Stina Nielsen. And Stina Nielsen, of course, runner-up to Marit Bjørgen in the second Davos freestyle race of last year. And the World Championship silver medalist in Falun on Swedish snow last year. Ahead of Faller, ahead of Kowalczyk, ahead of Ersberg. Rising star. And Stina Nielsen, very interesting. You can see she also sports the under-23 World Cup leaders bib. So being led out here. Jess Diggins trying to dominate early on here, and the American, who's been in very good early season form. Many of you will know that Jess anchored the relay team, the American relay team in Lillehammer, to a first ever podium, but just got over eager there and almost brought herself down, but still retains the advantage on this first of two loops. Jess, who finished 13th in the Olympic freestyle final, silver medal in the 10-kilometer freestyle race last year in the World Championships, big championship performance, and she is a former junior under-23 world champion silver medalist in sprinting at freestyle as well. So a real talent, one of the top stars in women's cross-country skiing, and she's leading Stina Nielsen at the moment. So they go out on the second journey around the 800 meters that are ahead of them now, a little bit less than that. Stina Nielsen, junior world champion a couple of seasons ago in classic sprint, but she was 10th in the Olympic Games, which really announced her in the freestyle sprint there, and of course a silver medal last year in the classic sprint. Jess Diggins, America, and then you've got Sweden right behind those two. Vesna Fabian, the Olympic bronze medalist in that blue and yellow outfit. Those are the 1, 2, 3. And those times, lucky loser times to get into the finish here. But Jess Diggins being challenged by Stina Nielsen, who cruises up on the far side. Vesna Fabian, Slovenia. Jess Diggins wants to win it and does so. 2:40.8, but it's still not the fastest of the quarterfinals. That still comes from the very first quarterfinal, won by Ingvild Flugstad Ørsberg. But Jess Diggins pretty happy about that. 2:40.85, and she and Stina Nielsen qualify for the semis. So confirmation of the result. Vesna Fabian, I'm afraid, and Krista Parmakoski of Finland, no chance for them to advance to the semi-finals. And so we come to the fifth and final quarter-final there. Astrid Jakobsen, who was fourth yesterday. That was a season's best for her in the 15-kilometer race. And Harsem, third in, I should say 8th in Ruka. She wears bib number 12, but Jakobsen, the fastest of these six. Sadie Bjornsson for the United States wears 19. 25 closest to you, Gaia Vurich, who was 33rd in the... Sorry, she was 28th and 20th here a year ago. So, Finland... So Norway actually doubly represented here. Jakobsen and Harsson, who get away ahead of Sadie Bjornsson of the United States, Lucia Anger of Germany also in here with Nika Razinga of Slovenia, who's second from the left as you look at them as they come to the first right-hand turn. And once again, the Norwegians trying to make their presence felt early on. Jakobsen on the right of your screen. Just behind her now is Katrin Harsem. So Jakobsen, experienced racer, but seemingly rejuvenated, particularly with the individual medal that she achieved in Falun last year in the skiathlon. And Jakobsen leading the way, now 28 years of age. Has always tried to combine her medical studies with her ski racing. Not an easy task. Jakobsen just being eclipsed on the inside there by Harsem, who took the arguably more risky line as they go out on their second journey. Harsem, also in her mid-20s. Very much a woman who concentrates on the sprints, but yet to make her presence felt, yet to make a World Cup podium. And there you can still see from the first quarter-final the two lucky losers at the moment. Sophie Caldwell, United States, Ida Ingmarsdottir now looking at this. They need to be up here, but, well, 2 minutes a game. For my money, this is slower. 25 in third place there. That is Nika Razinga for Slovenia. But a forlorn chance with the gaps opening up this wide to make one of those lucky loser spots. And already the front two Norwegians swinging round into the finish straight. Quite a scrap going on for third and fourth behind. And on the near side, Nika Razinga for Slovenia, but comfortably leading in here. No problem there for Jakobsen, ahead of Harsem, and then Razinga of Slovenia holding on ahead of Sadie Bjornsson. So now we know who's going through to the semi-finals. From the first heat, Østberg and Weng of Norway, together with Sophie Caldwell and Ida Ingmarsdottir, United States and Sweden. From the second quarter-final, it's Faller for Norway and Sundling for Sweden. From the third one, it's Sandra Ringwald for Germany, Hannah Falk for Sweden, and then Jess Diggins and Stina Nielsen for the United States and Sweden, and finally Jakobsen and Harsem for Norway. So the men for the first quarter-final lining up in the men's freestyle sprint. Andrew Young of Great Britain, fourth fastest in the prologue time trial, and he goes in the very last, the fifth quarter-final. And exactly the same rules and regulations as it was for the women. And it's the first two across the line who proceed to the semi-finals by right. And then after that, the two fastest lucky losers to join them. Sergei Ustikov, sixth best sprinter of last season, the fastest today, and wearing that yellow bib. Fosley for Norway, leading sprinter. Fosley, who was fifth in the World Cup rankings last season. Lucas Chanovat representing France, and Simeon Hamilton for the United States, Roman Schad for Switzerland, and Sweden's Simon Persson. And away they go on the far side there, really powering out. And that's a very strong start by all six men. And Ustikov trying to make sure that he's not that far away from the action. He's in second place at the moment. Chanavat from France with the strongest of the starts, and right at the back there is Fosley of Norway. So that just tells you how much power went in early on. So Ustigov pushing on, and great turnout here by the Swiss crowd. Chanavat still with that advantage. The French who had a pretty good day yesterday in the endurance race with the likes of Jean-Marc Gaillard, and clearly ready for the new season. Chanavat, 20 years of age, from Le Grand Bonnard. Competed a couple of years ago in the Junior Worlds when he was in the top 15 in the sprints, but not much else to show on his World Cup record. And Ustigov now changing things and moving up into second place. That's Roman Schad of Switzerland. Schad getting plenty of support here from this Davos crowd. Again, another man in his early 20s. Competed in the Junior Worlds last year, which was a classic sprint, finished in the top 10. But go back to Val di Fiemme of 2014, he was third in the under-23 World Championship freestyle sprint. That's the man wearing bib number 11 as they come towards the finish now. And this has been a really strong heat here. Ustigov gets it from Schad, and Fosley into a lucky loser spot. 2:19.9, the winning time. And that compares with Erzberg, the best time for the women, 2:36.47. So Ustigov of Russia, the fastest in qualification in 2:22.09, puts the power in at the appropriate time to get the victory. Ustigov, still early 20s. Fifth in the Olympic freestyle final, Ustigov. So he's safely through, and the next man, or the next half dozen, involve Finland, Italy, Norway, Sweden and France, and Russia, including Alexei Petukov. But first of all, Roman Schad. That's a very good race by Roman Schad, and 2:19.93 the winning time. So to the second semi-final, and Federico Pellegrino in action here. Pellegrino in the World Championship final last year, won by Peter Northug in Falun. That was in classic style, but this is a man to keep on the right side of the third best World Cup sprinter of last season, behind Erik Bransdal, who you'll be seeing a little later, and also Finn Horgen Krogh for Norway. So Pellegrino in here with Ola Viggen Hadderstad wearing bib number 14. There he is, Olympic and world medalist. And Hadderstad, interesting, this tall Norwegian, to see how his pace stands up these days. So under starters orders. So away we go. Hadderstad on the right of your picture, Olympic champion in the freestyle sprint in Sochi. Bronze last year in the Classic World Championship final in Falun. So working their way up, exactly the same course, the men as the women. 2 800-meter loops as they skip round the first right-hand turn. Pretty well everybody still into contention as they come up to the Craft Bridge. And the man making the pace at the front there, that's Richard Juve from France. And as I said in the previous quarter-final, the French very well prepared at this early stage of the season. Richard from Val-des-Prés, just 21 years of age, 4th in the under-23 World Championships last year in the Classic Sprint final. So a little bit of knowledge about this particular game, but you can see the order now beginning to change. Kalle Halvarsson, who's got a very good record here, Kalle, representing Sweden in the all-white outfit there. 5th and 4th in the 2 sprints that were contested here last year. In fact, he's just got pushed back into 5th place. And going around the corner for a second time, but this time it's the man in the lead there is Pellegrino, but look at that. That's what happens. And suddenly the complexity of the race there changes with the fall of Richard Juve, and they are spread out in Indian file. So into the finishing straight now. Remember, Ustigov and Shard from Russia and Switzerland already through. And this has ended up being quite straightforward as Pellegrino across the line ahead of Ulai of Finland into second place. Ulai, who was the fastest qualifier, just a little bit quicker, 2:31.35, a little bit quicker than Pellegrino, and also Andrew Young, who we're looking forward to in the last of the quarterfinals. And there's the man who went down and lost his chance completely. So Ulai and Pellegrino. Now just there you can see, difficult to see whether anybody stepped on his ski or whether it was a independent fall. Pellegrino for Italy. The Italians, you can still, best way to pick them out is the hats. They are unique in having that little bobble on the top of their hats, because the sprint suits are in many cases different colors to the distance and endurance suits. And Harrestadt way off, down in 5th place. Next quarterfinal coming up pretty shortly, but first confirmation. And you'll see here that Kalle Halvarsson and Petukov in 3rd and 4th are not in the lucky loser spots, because the time 2:20, so slower than the first quarterfinal. And now Paul Goldberg, top 10 in the Sprinting World Cup last season. Gianluca Cologna, in fact Dario Cologna, not making the cut. And neither did Petter Northug, neither did Emil Jonsson, neither did Nikita Krukov of respectively Italy, Norway, Sweden and Russia. Paul Goldberg, the fastest of the 6, 2:24.24. And then Gianluca Cologna. Watch out now for Erik Bransdal, 3rd and 17th here last year. And the man who finished up 2nd to his Norwegian teammate in the sprint rankings, and that was Finn Hågen Krogh. And Bransdal wearing 17, Cologna wearing 12, Baptiste Gros of France wearing 18, Matthias Strandvall of Finland wearing 26, and Jovian Heidegger of Switzerland wearing bib number 30. So Bransdal, a very obvious chance, but Matthias Strandvall of Finland, who'll be in blue, will be one of the men to keep an eye on. Bransdal quite often waits, but on this course you need to be up with the pace, and you can see here in this particular quarterfinal both Paul Goldberg and Eric Bransdal to the fore early on. And yet another faller on that turn. Oh dear, and bad luck there, because that's ruled out Matthias Strandvall. So Norway 1 and 2 yet again. Strandvall really won't have the opportunity, I don't think, to close up from there unless they just ease off at the front. Swinging round into the stadium for the first time. Strandvall trying to get back into it. 30 in third place there. That's Jovian Heidegger for Switzerland. And the two Norwegians powering on here. And the first three just getting a little advantage over the final two. Paul Goldberg in second place at the moment. Just trying to get that little bit closer. There is, oh, and down again, 17 into, that's Eric Bransdal into the lead, 18, and would you believe it, Baptiste Gros has got into a challenging position, 12 in fourth place, that's Gianluca Cologna, and the man who went down, there he is, number 30, and that was Jovian Heidegger of Switzerland. So now the Norwegians are split. Baptiste Gros trying to go round on the outside of the two Norwegians, skipping through on the near side, and Norway 1, Norway 2 as they go to the line. Paul Goldberg and Eric Bransdal qualify by right. Baptiste Gros in third place, 2:21, and again this third quarter-final not quicker than the first one, which was 2:19.93. So still at the moment I've got 2:20.44 Pellegrino and Ulai. So the first quarter-final still the quickest. A lot of action here, and they're just getting caught up, crossing his skis. That was Strandvall of Finland, and Heidegger going down, and all the pressure coming on that right-hand turn. Baptiste Gros in third place for France. Ultimately. So confirmation. Paul Goldberg and Eric Bransdal through by right, and now the fourth of the quarterfinals with the Sprint World Cup leader Finn Krogh of Norway wearing bib number 7, and he was the fastest, there he is, near side, the fastest of the qualifiers in 2:24.16. So he comes forward. Renard J of France in here, Johan Eden and Juho Mikkonen for Finland, Maciej Starega for Poland, and Nikolai Morilov for Russia. These are your 6, 2 across the line, the first 2 to qualify by right. 8 freestyle sprint races here in the Men's World Cup, and each of them has had a different winner. over the years. Bjorn Lind, Hadderstad, John Christian Dahl, Emil Jonsson, Petukov for Russia, Anders Glowerson still to come, and Finn Kroh and Federico Pellegrino. They've all been winners here in Davos in the freestyle sprints, as into the lead Johan Edin for Sweden. Edin with the early advantage. Fifth in the 15-kilometer World Championship last year, so can do the distance as well as doing the sprints. So he leads the charge, and now being attacked on his inside there, and that looks to be Morilov trying to get the advantage. And you can see how crowded it is going round this right-hander, and yet another man down. And was that Finn Kroh? It was Finn Kroh, the Sprint World Cup leader. So 19 galloping there. That's Maciej Starega of Poland being pursued by Morilov of Russia. And that's probably blown Finn Kroh's chances of getting back into this, because there's a lot of distance back, and it's the Polish sprinter who has the advantage. And 13 moving into second place, Renard J of France on the near side, and it's going to be Poland and France, is it? Yes, just Poland, France. Mikkonen of Finland ahead of Morilov, who faded, and then Finn Kroh. So first setback for the powerhouse of Norway in today's sprint. So actually Renard J and in a photo with Mikkonen for second and third places, but I thought, well, maybe, no, it's, well, maybe Mikkonen. It's very close. Well, Renard J I called first, and it is Renard J, and 300 separating them in the Frenchman's favour. 2:22.20, that boy 2:0. That's the slowest of the quarterfinals. So still unofficially this is, but by my reckoning it's the two men again from the first quarterfinal, as it was for the women, and that's Sondre Fossli for Norway and Luca Shanavat who look as if they're going to be the qualifiers lucky, or the lucky losers. They are at the moment, but still one quarter-final to come. Andrew Young for Great Britain getting ready to arguably achieve a personal best. As you see the decision there, Renard J in the photo finish. Paul Goldberg in the previous semi-final has been disqualified for obstruction, and that has let Baptiste Gros of France in. Now on the near side, all 1.92 m of him, Andrew Young for Great Britain, the fourth fastest qualifier, up against this man Togbul, who is the fastest in this particular quarter-final, 2:23.15. and Sebastian Eisenlau for Germany, and then Andrew Newell in the final in Ruka, and Anders Glowerson, one of the 8 winners previously here in Davos. Newell and Glowerson for the United States and Norway, plenty of pedigree, and the other man in this, Dominic Baldauf of Austria. So Andrew Young, not traditionally the fastest starter, and you can see there just that little bit behind. Takes him a while to get himself going here. but what he's trying to do is to get across the line in the first two positions by right to get into the semi-finals, which is something that no British Nordic cross-country skier has ever achieved. His teammate Andrew Musgrave, a creditable 8 seconds off the pace, didn't qualify, but rather predictably, it is Tugbold of Norway who goes out and has the lead. And Andrew in the whitish race suit in just about 5th place, just behind 23, which is Dominik Baldov of Austria. But Tugbold already a strong lead. Coming round into the stadium complex to go out onto the second rotation, and Tugbold now being left with quite an advantage here. Andrew Young now motoring on the inside there. It was 20th here last year, really good result, and Andrew now needing to really close up to make sure that he's in contention. Just lost position there. The pace was increased as they came in, and he had to just stand tall. He's on the inside now. That's pushed him up to about 3rd place. And you can see there he's chasing the front two. 20, that's Sebastian Eisenlohr of Germany, who's in 2nd place. Andrew Newell for Great Britain in 3rd. Andrew won't want to rely on this in terms of speed. Now he's in 3rd place. Tugbold in the lead where he has been. Now Andrew Young, can he find anything on the inside of the German Eisenlohr? Andrew Young on the near side here, trying to get on terms with Eisenlohr, and he's still in 3rd place. Tugbold leading Andrew Young. He just can't quite get to the German racer, and the time is 2:20, and Young 2:20.3. So now we have to go back, and 2:20.3, it means that his time was 2:20.32. Now, can that get him possibly into the semi-finals? 2:20.32. And this is pretty close. So he's vying with Lukas Shanavat from the first quarter-final to get in to the semi-finals by right, and he closed up, but he just couldn't get past into 2nd place by right. And Eisenlohr, in fact, that's been corrected to 0.30 to 20.30. And the good news is that Andrew Young is the lucky loser, together with Fosley from the first quarter-final. And Andrew Young becomes the first British cross-country Nordic skier to ever get into a World Cup semi-final. He is guaranteed no worse than 12th place as a result of his achievement already. So Roy Young, who's his dad, his coach, will be extra excited as we come back to semi-final action here in the Women's World Cup Freestyle Sprint. So, Ingvild Flugstad Ørsberg and Micah Kaspersen-Faller, the two main challengers for Norway, but they've got 3 out of the top 6 with Heidi Weng in here as well. And Sandra Ringvald, who grabbed the victory at the last lunge in her quarter-final, and also the tall Swede Ida Ingsmar-Dotter. Now she wears white here. Here is Ida. So this is a hot affair here. The rules are the same. First 2 through across the line to qualify by right, and then again we're looking for lucky losers to go into the final. First of the 2 semi-finals here in Davos on a sunny Sunday afternoon, as it is now, and Sweden closest to us. Away they go. Now 3 Norwegians in this. Ørsberg wears 1, Faller wears 8, Heidi Weng wears 11. Faller with the red sprint bib which will help to pick her out. At Erzberg, the fastest prologue time trialer earlier on in the morning. Erzberg on the left there, second yesterday in the 15-kilometre race. She leads out. Then you can see Faller with the pink headband, with the white headband on the right there. That's Heidi Weng, and it's Norway 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Skipping round there, Johanna Sundling of Sweden. Sundling, who won the Junior World Sprint title a couple of seasons ago, moving up now. But it's 3 Norwegians, 2 Swedes and 1 German, and that German racer now demoted to the back there, and that's Sandra Ringwald. But don't write her off quite yet. Remember, she came with a late charge, but at the moment having to keep in touch through almost the first 800 metres as they spin round here now. 3 Norwegians and Ingvild Flugstad Erzberg trying to maintain her advantage. She's now on the right, and Heidi Weng in the centre. Micah Kaspersen-Faller with the red bib on the left there, but they're almost 3 in a line. And you can see there that Ringwald now of Germany up into 4th place, demoting the 2 Swedes to the back. Ingemar Dotter, the one on the right, the taller one, and Sundling on the inside on the left. Right-hand turn coming up here. Erzberg wants to be in ideal spot here, and she's really got the optimum opportunity here to get the line as they spin round here. Heidi Weng in 2nd place, Kaspersen-Faller in 3rd. And then you've got the 2 Swedes coming up now, and Germany's Ringwald once again demoted to last place. And Kaspersen-Faller, the Olympic champion, going up on the shoulder of Erzberg. Erzberg, who was a winner here last year, 1st and 3rd in the 2 sprints. No Marit Bjørgen, no Kicken Rangel. They both absent, just about to start their families, but they'll be enjoying this, watching this on television. 3 Norwegians up front and coming round into the straight, and it's still, you can see Erzberg and Faller trying to close there in 2nd place. Heidi Weng not out of this at all as they go towards the line. Wow, that is very, very tight there. Erzberg, Faller and Weng. And Erzberg and Faller at the end of it all in a photo. Weng in 3rd place and only 1800ths behind. That could be good enough for a lucky loser spot. The best of the Swedes, Johanna Sundling, she's the rising star. Ingemar Dotter in 5th place, she's the more established sprinter. And Sandra Ringwald, they were too hot for her this time. She loses out by almost a second. But look at this, Erzberg, who almost crosses her skis there under the pressure from the Olympic champion, her teammate on the left of your picture, but she holds on. And she holds on there by 600ths of a second. And then you can see there and Heidi Weng and Sundling in the lucky loser spots as we see how it all developed from the semi-finals, and 2nd semi-final coming up right now. Terrific race over 1600 metres, and this the lineup here, and yet another couple of Norwegians in here. Jakobsen, who is in really good form at the early part of the season here, she in here with Jess Diggins from the United States, pumping herself up there. Jess Diggins, who really started the season very well over in Sweden in Ilevare, was well to the fore in those warm-up races. And as I mentioned right at the beginning of this competition, she anchored the American relay team in Lillehammer last weekend, last Sunday in fact, to a 1st ever podium finish. And she's got a teammate in here as well, Sophie Caldwell. So Sophie Caldwell, then 12 stretching, Harsem of Norway through with Jakobsen, of course. 13, here is Jess Diggins. Bit like Keegan Randall, always bright, enthusiastic. Made the final, very good. 4 here, Hanna Falk of Sweden, tough and experienced sprinter, Hanna Falk, to be respected. And 3 here, Jakobsen. in a way rejuvenated. This was the woman who back in 2007 in a single season won both the senior and the junior world title. And Stina Nilsson here for Sweden. Well, this is the world silver medalist in sprinting from last year. So, under starters' orders now. Away they go. 2 for Sweden, 2 for Norway, 2 for the United States. Again, Jakobsen will be looking to try and get an early position here. Stina Nilsson, who also heads up the under-23 world rankings, just about in 4th place at the moment as they come towards the right-hand turn. So, yet again, Norway have got this right in terms of that opening turn. For moving up there, Hanna Falk, Stina Nilsson, also well there. Coming into the stadium complex. So up the front, Sophie Caldwell leading, but now the challengers coming on. Stina Nilsson still in 5th place and struggling. Jess Diggins in the back there. Can she try and reattach herself, I wonder? And this is a really strong performance. Hanna Falk well to the fore. Sophie Caldwell up there as well. Sophie Caldwell the better of the 2 Americans. And into the turn, Jakobsen with the lead there from Stina Nilsson, moving up there to challenge Hanna Falk of Sweden. And so it's Norway, Sweden, Sweden. And then Sophie Caldwell for the United States, and falling back there, that's Harsam, and just being eclipsed by Jess Diggins, but a lot to do as they come down now in the what is effectively the back straight. Astrid Jakobsen leading this Indian file charge here. Don't rule out the likes of Stina Nilsson or Hanna Falk as they try to close on the Norwegian. Just skipping around, just losing a little bit of momentum there, Astrid Jakobsen, and being taken on now on the far side by Stina Nilsson, who comes through comfortably to go through to cross the line, and does that impressively ahead of Jakobsen. 2:38.8. It's a little bit quicker than the first quarterfinal, or first semi-final, I should say. Jakobsen, now I'm looking at Hanna Falk in 3rd place, 0.64 to add on to that. That would be 2:39.44. And I reckon that Hanna Falk has definitely got one of the lucky loser spots, but probably with Heidi Weng. And in fact, Sophie Caldwell's there as well. So the second semi-final, Nilsson, Jakobsen, Falk and Caldwell join Østberg and Faller in the women's final. So the first semi-final in the men's division of this second sprint of the season here. Ustigov for Russia, Pellegrino for Italy, Bransdal for Norway, Ulai for Finland, Schad for Switzerland, Fosley for Norway, and Pellegrino, a former winner here for Italy, wearing 1. This is Sergei Ustigov, the fastest qualifier in the time trial earlier in the day. And then wearing 11 here, this is Roman Schad for Switzerland. the home representative. He's the only Swiss who's made it into the semi-finals, and they're wearing the red bib. This is Fosley, the runner-up in the World Cup rankings last year. No Finn Krogh, he's gone out in the quarterfinals. 17 here. Eric Bransdal, sometimes known as the head waiter, but Bransdal, a man who knows this course pretty well. He was third in the first of the two freestyle sprints here a year ago. Pellegrino won the second one, and away we go. And Pellegrino, two from the left of your picture, pretty strong start there, trying to get an optimum line into this right-hand turn. And the power is really on. Enormous power from these men. Ustigov wearing bib number 1, well to the fore. And this has been the message all day long here in Davos, that you need to be up with the pace all the time. Second semi-final comes up right after this and includes Britain's Andrew Young, who already has achieved a personal best but may go even further. And Ustigov really powering up here into the lead. Pellegrino with the little bobble on his hat there, also trying to move up there. Bransdal in just Bransdal at the moment just about in 4th place with Fosley. The two Norwegians at the back at the moment. Already swinging round into the stadium, and 11 going into the lead there. Roman Schad of Switzerland, and that's on the below the screen there with the bib, the red bib. That is Fosley, who's in 3rd place at the moment. So Ustigov, Roman Schad, Ustigov, Fosley. That's the 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Ulai of Finland yet to really get into this, but close enough. In fact, they're all close enough to win this at the moment, but Ustigov looking to swing wide, which gives him a tighter turn in, as you can see, and he leads there up from Schad of Switzerland. 3 going up there. Ulai now making his challenge, moving up into 2nd place. Roman Schad falls there, and Ustigov is away, and he's going to be hard to catch. Roman Schad, no chance. Finland in 2nd place now, looking for that automatic qualifying place into the final. And Ustigov again, that wide line to swing him round. Here you can see tries to cut round there. Ulai on the inside of him, but look at this. Ulai on the near side, Ustigov on the far side. Ustigov got the double polling power as he comes down here, and that is really impressive. Fight for 2nd place. Oh, big lunge on the line by Pellegrino, and he just gets it. Pellegrino denies Ulai automatic 2nd place, and there wouldn't be more than 1/10 of a second, if that, in it. And Pellegrino, former winner, goes into the final. Ulai will have to wait to 1971. So Ulai ahead of Fosley, and then Bransdal and Schad, who fell. But Ustigov showing that this morning's pace, 2:19.68. He did 2:23.03 as the fastest qualifier earlier in the day. But the toll of racing the time trial, the quarterfinals, and now the semi-finals, it'll be interesting to see whether that does take its toll on the finalists when we come to that. Second semi-final coming up momentarily. Here's Ustigov powering up the hill. Schad, just that's a fall not interfered with by anybody else. Unforced error there. And Ustigov. Now watch Pellegrino on the right-hand side of your screen. Ulai just behind Ustigov, and the lunge of the right boot of Pellegrino beats the lunge of the left boot of Ulai. So 2:19.68. So that's 2:20.12 for Ulai in one of the 2 lucky loser spots at the moment with Fosley. So the second semi-final almost upon us now. Tagbol of Norway, the only Norwegian in this lineup here. Stadega of Poland, Renager and Baptiste Gros. Baptiste Gros was actually reinstated because Paul Goldberg was disqualified from his quarterfinal. And then Eisenlohr, who beat Andrew Young. And Andrew Young, the man who got his place by the lucky loser pool, but that has given him a lifetime best. Eisenlohr 20. Andrew Young in a whitish race suit for Great Britain wears 4. 13. This is the Frenchman Renager. You can see in blue and yellow. Baptiste Gros, his teammate, wears 8. Here is Andrew Young, all 85 kilos and 192 of him. Sorry, I should say number 4. That's Simeon. That was the wrong caption. That was Andrew Young, and that, sorry, that completely threw me there. Tugbold of Norway, and here is Andrew Young. Apologies for the confusion there. Stadega of Poland, that was, wearing 10. Well, where's 19 actually, and they put the caption up for number 10. So apologies for that. So there is Maciej Stadega. So away we go, Andrew Young just beneath you on the right there. And a better start from Andrew, I have to say. Quicker than in the quarterfinals, and he's put himself in the action just a little bit better there. He's just about in a share of 3rd place. Well, this is going to be interesting. I think this might be a little bit cat and mouse. It might lead to a slower time because Eisenlohr is leading here from Tugbold of Norway. Then 18, that's Baptiste Gros of France. Andrew Young just behind him. And at the back there is 13, Renager, and just in front of him is Stadega. So down the back straight, Eisenlohr, Germany. Andrew Young in 3rd place. Baptiste Gros 4, but actually just being overtaken there by Stadega in the red of Poland. So Andrew Young at the moment in 3rd place, and Stadega just going up to take over 3rd place, and also moving up there 18, Baptiste Gros, and now Andrew Young finds himself back in 6th place as the power really goes on as they approach this right-hander. This is very difficult for the British sprinter. Comes up the inside to try and minimize the damage, and that was a good, he took the risk there, and that was a really good move, and as a result he's got himself back at the moment into what would be 5th place, just ahead of the other Frenchman. So coming down and round into the finish now. There's the times from the first competition, and leading the way, Tugbold in 2nd place there for Norway. Andrew Young not going to get one of the lucky loser spots. It's all about Baptiste Gros, the reinstated man who has taken it from Tugbold, with Renager of France in 3rd place. And then a photo between Stadega and Young for 5th. And 4th, Sebastian Eisenlohr in last place for Germany. Well, a bit of a muddled race there, but Baptiste Gros 2:20.40, and that's a slower heat, and that for me lets in Ulai and just having, yeah, Ulai and Fosley for Norway. Finland and Norway represented in the final. Ustigov, Pellegrino, Ulai, Fosley, Baptiste Gros and Hrvad Tugbold. Well, if you're just joining us, it's the final of the women's freestyle sprint at Davos. I'm David Goldstrom, and in the final, no less than 3 sprinters for Norway, 2 for Sweden and 1 for the United States. The Norwegians, headed by Ingvild Flugstad Østberg, second yesterday to Teresa Johaug in the women's 15-kilometer freestyle. She was the fastest this morning in qualification, and she's in here ahead of Sweden's Stina Nilsson, the under-23 leader of the World Cup rankings in that division. Astrid Jakobsen for Norway and Micah Kaspersen Faller also representing Norway, the Olympic champion. Hannah Falk for Sweden and Sophie Caldwell for the United States of America. And those are your 6 who'll be lining up momentarily to take their chance in this World Cup final. So a really good fight in prospect here. But Østberg, can she achieve what she did last year? She finished first in the first of the 2 sprints here in Davos. She was third in the second one, which was won by the absent Marit Bjørgen. Keegan Randall looking pretty happy here, but family on the way. Couldn't quite see from that photo, but she's excited, I'm sure, for Sophie Caldwell, who's made the lineup here. So, United States represented by Caldwell. And I wonder what she can actually produce here. Sophie Caldwell in the final. And looking at her World Cup results, she's been third. She's been on the podium once before. That was in the Lahti sprint a couple of seasons ago. But this is quite a hot affair. Østberg, world silver medalist last year in Falun, or the silver medalist in the Olympic sprint with her Olympic teammate Faller, who was the champion. So the 1-2 from Sochi in this lineup. Østberg a winner in Davos, and Faller very dangerous in the final, I would say. And their confirmation of the lineup. Kaspersen Faller wearing the red bib as the sprint leader of the season so far after Ruka. Nielsen, the under-23 leader in the rankings. 5, Sophie Caldwell, United States of America. Hannah Falk will come up soon, but this is Flugstad Østberg. Here is the Olympic champion, Kaspersen Faller. Pink headband to go with the red bib. Under-23 bib for Stina Nilsson. Nilsson, runner-up to Marit Bjørgen in the World Championships. Astrid Jakobsen, former world senior and junior champion, but in classic style. And Hannah Falk. So under starters orders for the final. Just asked to ease back a little too eager. Starter contemplating that at least one of them was about to fall over the wand. Look at the power at takeoff. And that's a pretty decent start by at least 5 of them. And Hannah Falk on the extreme right of your picture there. Good start from her. Vying already with the Norwegians, and 3 Norwegians, remember. Østberg wears 1, Jakobsen wears 3, Faller wears the red bib. So up there early on. Falk going round in second place behind Østberg, who loves to lead, manages her energy that much better these days in her early transition days from junior to elite, she tended to run out of gas, but not so now. She's pretty strong athlete. And so it's Norway, Sweden, Norway, the 1, 2, 3 here. And then Sweden and the United States, Norway. Astrid Jakobsen at the back of this at the moment, and Hannah Falk trying to come round the outside through into the straight, but Ingrid Østberg, they're much better, much quicker into her skiing, and Kaspersen Faller now trying to come up on the inside. Stina Nielsen in 4th place, Astrid Jakobsen up to 5th, Sophie Caldwell from the United States at the moment down in 6th place, and it's Østberg pushing on here from Faller, and then Hannah Falk and Stina Nielsen. Stina Nielsen into the bronze medal position at the moment. Hannah Falk being challenged now by Astrid Jakobsen, trying to find some late speed, and Sophie Caldwell just can't go with them, and she's been blown away by the Swedes and the Norwegians here, and Østberg leading up from Faller. So Østberg and Faller, the two Norwegians, and Faller, the Olympic champion, goes ahead. Stina Nielsen now breathing on the shoulder of Østberg, and Faller decides that this is the moment to make a decisive move. Ski's running really well. She'll be delighted with that, Stina Nielsen, and now Jakobsen up into 4th place, closing on Stina Nielsen. But at the moment it's Faller from Østberg, and Astrid Jakobsen looking brave to cut inside Stina Nielsen, but didn't quite accomplish that. And now it's Østberg trying to come back. Stina Nielsen on the far side, challenging Maika Kaspersen Faller, the Olympic champion, versus the silver medalist from the Worlds. And it's Stina Nielsen who wins her first ever World Cup sprint. Stina Nielsen out sprints, out lunges, and finishes with 100 World Cup points. The dream of winning a World Cup has just been realised. What a fantastic finish there by Stina Nielsen. She did it in the semis. She's now repeated that in the finals. And sporting congratulations. Faller 2nd, Østberg 3rd, Jakobsen 4th, Falk of Sweden in 5th place, and Sophie Caldwell in 6th. But Stina Nielsen, well, we knew that she was on her way. We knew that at the World Championships when she produced a silver medal performance. But now, today, she makes that dream of winning a World Cup come true. She's wearing the under-23 bib, but believe it or not, she should be wearing number 13, but not unlucky. But there was no luck in that. There was no fluke in that. She was the runner-up in Ruka in the classic sprint, and that has earned her 100 World Cup points. That was a terrific performance, and Maika Kaspersen Faller couldn't do anything about it at all. So prior to today, a couple of second place finishes actually in the 10K Classic and the second place last season in Otterburn in the Classic Sprint, but this is a big milestone for her, winning a freestyle sprint on the right-hand side. There you can see Kaspersen Faller and Østberg nearly tumbling across the line there ahead of Jakobsen. 10th in the Olympic Games behind Kaspersen Faller, and that's the progress that Stina Nielsen has made. Exhausted, emptied, but still able to celebrate a special day. And so it's Stina Nielsen who's denied the Norwegians the weekend double. Tall, elegant, effective long levers, and flanked by Norwegians. But this time she is in the number 1 spot. Østberg, 25 years of age, on the far side. And Micah Kaspersen-Faller, now she knows that she's got yet another major challenge on her hands. Well, Stina Nielsen and Micah Kaspersen-Faller know each other pretty well. It was Stina who got the better of Faller in the World Championships in the Classic Sprint. That was when Stina got silver and Faller got the bronze medal, but now a World Cup victory and confirmation there that Stina Nielsen for Sweden denies 3 Norwegians. And Sophie Caldwell in 6th place, not a personal best, but a very good result for her, finishing in 6th place. So very shortly, onto the men. Here's Stina.
You did it.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I couldn't believe this for like a week ago when I was 6, so I'm very happy.
And coming down the home stretch, did you know did you think you were going to run out of space to get there into the first, or did you feel you were going to make it?
In the last corner, I felt that I had very high speed, so I gave it all to win, and I'm very happy that I succeeded.
Congratulations on a great win.
Thank you very much.
You're going to hear a whole lot more of this woman, not just in the world of sprinting, but she can do the middle distance races as well and be very effective.
World is turned over many times, and to transform the history of man.
Either the will or the skill to fight. We are.
Men's final coming up. So this the lineup for the men's final. So Federico Pellegrino wearing 6, dark race suit, white hat, little bobble on the top. Frenchman 18 here, Baptiste Gros. Really good finish in the semi-finals. Wearing 1, the fastest qualifier earlier in the day, Sergei Ustugov. Blue top, red leggings. And then 3 here. This is Ulai for Finland in sort of blue with a bit of yellow about his race suit. And then 2 for Norway, Tugbol in the same semi-final as Andrew Young, who's achieved a personal best, and Fosley wearing bib number 5, and Fosley, the man who leads coming into today's competition in Davos in the sprint rankings. So very interesting to see whether Fosley can really get a good finish to his competition in this, the most important race of all, the final. Ustugov, as ever, expected to be strong into the first right-hander. And now being taken on by the Norwegians. And side by side, Fosley and Ustugov early on. Now things beginning to change a little. Ooh, and down at a crucial stage and out of this effectively. Ustugov trying to catch up. But that's given Fosley a real advantage over not only Ustigov but the whole field. Just a little slippery, a little icy, but that cost Ustigov, and it's really knocked the guts out of him. Fosley round the first turn up here and on his way, who knows, to perhaps a victory. You have to wait and see whether he can sustain this. He won the 1400-meter classic in Ruka. The Frenchmen are dangerous, though. We've seen that from the semi-finals. Down the back straight now and lining up for the finish, all beginning to close up a little bit. This is not quite over yet, as the man chasing him is Pellegrino of Italy, and then right behind him is Ulai of Finland, and Pellegrino of Italy, a winner here previously, going for the line and takes it, and the lunge there on the inside. Baptiste Gros of France in a photograph with Fosley for second place on the podium. Ulai fourth, Ustigov fifth, Tagbal in sixth place. But Pellegrino wins the sprint. The man who was third in the World Cup rankings, he won the second of the two sprints here last year, and he becomes the first man to win two sprints in Davos. So Federico Pellegrino of Italy, a fantastic finish. But what about Baptiste Gros and the French team? They are absolutely delighted. Gros, who got back into the competition as a result of the disqualification of Paul Goldberg, and now finds himself on the podium. So, well, this is quite a day for Baptiste, but also quite a day for Pellegrino. And Baptiste absolutely delighted with that, because that is surely a personal best. I've got it as a personal best. A couple of seasons ago he got a third place in Poland in Śląska Poręba, but by my reckoning that is a new personal best. Second place, and only his second podium in World Cup. Pellegrino, well, he's no stranger to centre step on the podium, but again, always looked powerful, and he's turning into being one of the major sprinters. And that, for me, is his third career win. He won here, as I said, last year. He also won last season in Rybinsk, and now that is win number 3 and a 6th podium. And previously here, he's been on the podium in third place in a classic sprint as well. So he has real all-round talent. And sprinting's the name of the game. Look at Gros on the far side there. And you can see just getting the better of Fosley. Ulai not far away. Well, the other really important point for British fans is the performance of Andrew Young, because he has definitely produced a new personal best for himself and also for Great Britain. Never before has a British Nordic combined skier got into the semi-finals, and he's in the top 12, waiting for the confirmation of the final ranking. But he could well be, he was vying for 4th or 5th, so he could be possibly 10th, possibly 11th, and we haven't had that given to us as yet. But no matter, that's a great big step forward, and it shows that the British focus on technique and the British focus for Musgrave on those middle distance races and Andrew Young on the sprinting really pays off. And there Pellegrino comfortable across the line. Baptiste a personal best, and much delight by the French team. We've had a really good weekend. Yeah, the French, you might remember from yesterday, Maurice Magnificat, runner-up in the 30-kilometer race, but also his teammate Jean-Marc Gaillard in 5th place, Robin Duvillard in 7th. So that's a terrific all-round team performance. But here is the man, Federico Pellegrino, your winner. Baptiste also rejoicing. I think those boys will play that for a wee while to have a look at that outcome. So confirmation of the men's results into the top 6 positions, and still waiting for the ranking as a result of the 2 semi-finals. Trying to get that for you at the moment.
Federico, your first World Cup victory ever here last year, and your first win of the season here again. Maybe this is your favorite spot?
I think so. This is my 6th year here, and yeah, it's so special, and it was not so easy to prepare this competition. Last week I was in Lillehammer for the relay, but now it's fantastic.
And last weekend you were fantastic in the relay as well. First leg, that was excellent. You have a nice fan crowd here. It almost feels like you're racing at home.
Yes, I have to say thank you to everybody, to say thanks to every people who support me, and first of all my family, Greta, and all the others that they are here, and so it's a very fantastic day.
Well, congratulations on another victory.
Thank you.
Well, a well-deserved victory as well, and just so there are the facts about Pellegrino, but I'm just having a look down at the results to see whether we can catch the overall rankings for the race, and still they haven't come through to us at the moment.
Further action is required.
Tonight, the battle has been joined. We will not fail. Regrettably.
So as a result of today's racing here in the sprint rankings, Stina Nielsen goes to the top, takes that red bib away from Faller, and these the differential. Still very early days in the sprint competition, so just a classic and a freestyle race to date, and we should get the men's results any moment. World Cup rankings, the overall situation. So I'll have a look for Andrew Young's points, because that'll give us a clue actually to his final position if we get those in a moment. overall standings here. Teresa Johaug 555, and you can see there Ersberg actually closing up as a result of her performance today, and that means that the gap, which was 200 points that Johaug had over her nearest rival, has just been narrowed just a little bit, but she is very much the dominant force. And Stina Nielsen in those under-23 rankings, you can see storming away from the talented Czech racer Novakova. So podiums, women's and men's to come. Just waiting for these men's results. Just a little bit frustrating at the moment that we can't get them as quickly as we would like. So, plenty of mementos and photographs. So, Ersberg not able to maintain first place. She was the fastest earlier in the day. And Micah Kaspersen-Faller finding herself once again on the second step, but as you can see there, looking not too disappointed about the whole thing. And for the first time in the World Cup, Stina Nielsen stands on the top step of the World Cup podium here in Davos. So some pretty happy competitors, and now finally I can tell you it is confirmed that Andrew Young has finished 9th overall, and that is a fantastic position. I apologize for taking that length of time, but it's all to do with the way that the computer results are fed to us, but it's been worth waiting for, because that is the best ever result by a British cross-country skier in a Nordic ski event, because that actually eclipses the finish positions of Andrew Musgrave at this moment. Yeah, Andrew Musgrave, who's been 13th in individual freestyle race. It's perhaps a little unfair to compare, because you've got Andrew Young racing at middle distances, particularly 15 kilometers, which is arguably his optimum distance, and you've got Andrew Young now focusing on the sprints. But this is a fantastic boost when you think that we're edging towards 2016, only a couple of years away from the next Winter Olympics, and we've got a British cross-country skier now into the semi-finals of a World Cup sprint. But not only has he got into the semi-finals, but he's actually finished 9th in the whole field, which is something of a red letter day, and worthy of I have to say, some celebrations. Here you can see the Sprint World Cup rankings. Pellegrino at the top there, eclipsing Fosley as a result of his victory today. As I said, still early days, but into those World Cup rankings, because 9th place in a World Cup race, I mean, that is worth really good World Cup points. And the other factor about it is the fact that when you start to accumulate points by finishing in those positions, what also happens is that you edge closer to getting travel and accommodation and subsistence support from the World Cup organisers for your next competitions. So that is also incredibly important for the British squad, with both Andrew Musgrave and Andrew Young really performing extremely well. Musgrave yesterday 32nd, just lost the speed in the last of the rotations, but nonetheless a really good result. Ninth place, worth 58 World Cup points to Andrew Young. Martin Jonsrud still very much in charge of the overall World Cup. And you can see Pellegrino boosted up into the top 15 as a result of his success today. Under 23, and De Fabiani, who burst into prominence last year in Lahti, leading the under 23 rankings. So as you see, Bjorn Daly, who's been here organising a kids race and enjoying, I guess, the action. Really good crowd, really good atmosphere, well prepared tracks, lovely sunshine, couldn't be better. And a day for quite a few to remember. Stina Nilsson, first ever World Cup victory. Pellegrino making this one of his happiest World Cup venues. And then, of course, Andrew Young, a personal best, 9th, and the best ever Nordic cross-country result. But the presentations now to the top 3. Personal best also for Baptiste Gros of France. And the French have had a good weekend here in Davos as well. As I explained a little earlier, very, very solid in the distance race yesterday, with Magnificat, Dudiard, Jean-Marc Gaillard, all in the top 10. First man to win twice here in the sprint. So time for us to take our leave. Don't see that very often. Atomic, Rosignol and Salomon all represented on the podium, and not too often do you miss out and not see a set of Fischer skis there, but 3 happy ski companies, I would think, with that result. So I hope you've enjoyed the action. A memorable day here in Davos for Pellegrino, Baptiste Gros, for Stina Nilsson, for Andrew Young, amongst others, but those 4 will be particularly happy for what they've achieved in the last 4 hours, beginning early this morning with the time trial. Time to take our leave from Davos. For myself, David Goldstrom, thanks for your company. Bye-bye.